Yeah, glad to be back. You're still on to Arise Africa on your channel of champions, ACBN. And of course, it's always good to know that you're part of our success. Always has to join us as we start up your day with segments such as the news and brief, and of course some other wonderful segments, including this one, which brings a platform for discussion and contribution onto national issues, the People's Parliament. I remain at Adeolu Balogun, bringing you our discussion segments on ACBN's Rise Africa. Don't forget, I don't do this alone. I have partners in the house to discuss issues with me this morning. Sonny Ibu and of course Paul Anson. Good morning.
Morning to you.
How are you this morning?
Wonderful.
It's been wonderful this week. And what's the projection for the remaining part?
We have just a few days more to go, and 1 day rather to go, and it's been wonderful, and we just hope and believe God that the months will end well.
All right, quite an optimism there. And for Paul Anson,
of course, it's going to be a great month because the month of February is designed to be a blessing. We've seen what happened in January, and so the part of it just is like a shining light that shines more and more onto the perfect day. So this month will be a greater month.
I like the color with which you have maintained optimism this morning on the month, and of course the many parts of the week. And of course we extend that to the faces of our viewers out there. Keep joining us and keep being part of our success. And of course, don't forget that's one of the ways you can actually be a part of that change you desire. Good morning once again, Nigerians. Good morning, Africans, and good morning to our global friends. This morning we shall be taking a continual look at what we actually started yesterday, looking at the issues surrounding the proposed national dialogue being brought to Nigerians, being introduced to Nigerians by President Goodluck Jonathan on the first day of October 2013. The president of the country, in an annual independence speech, introduced and proposed that there should be a platform whereby various leaders, various representatives of various regions in the country should come together at a round table and discuss ways forward, especially ways to combat the challenges being faced by Nigeria as a country and as a sovereign nation. Ever since then, there have been reactions with regards to how that has been, preparation, the selection of representatives and all that. And one of the very recent criticisms of such is that a coalition of it's a non-governmental organization, a coalition of pro-democratic activists have come out to say that they have come out to criticize the way and manner with which representatives have been chosen. Majorly, they have the opinion that people that are not politicians should be chosen to represent the various cultures, various regions, various parts in the country, if indeed results are to be objective. And of course, one of the other top points of criticism is the fact that people have also come out to say that if the discussion is really to be objective and made 100%, that the presidency shouldn't propose a no-go area, talking about discussing the unity of the nation and all that. These are some reactions that have been met by the proposed national dialogue. So don't forget, it's a program that is designed to have your reaction and your views. This morning we shall be collecting your views and your reactions with regards to these very vital issues. You seek that change, and we always urge you that let that change begin with you. So once again, I say good morning to our friends out there. And of course, I still have my friends in the studios this morning, Paul Anson and of course Sonny Rainbow. Now let's quickly start with the most recent criticism of the way and manner with which the preparation has been for the proposed national conference. Now, this body have come out. It's a non-governmental body, but it houses political scientists, not politicians yet, strategists and all that. Now, they have come out to say in one mind, in one voice, that the presidency should really look into bringing in people as representatives, people who have not been involved in partisan politics in times past. Now, do you see that coming to pass? What would you see? Would you see that really being an instrument for success for the discussion being planned?
Well, looking at their point of view, I think to some extent they have a point there, because you cannot really pick the same group of politicians who are playing the games of politics to go on and start delegating or discussing issues that affect the common man in their local constituency. So going down to the grassroots and picking people who really represent the people, and people who are really involved in the life of the people who are really have one or two experiences to talk about the community they live in. These are the kind of people you would pick, because they have a better way of viewing things, they have a better way of understanding the environment.
Okay, well, let's take this reaction quickly. Good morning.
Adeolu. Good morning, Mr. Lawrence, and good morning, from the
Yes, I'm glad to have
I
you.
just want to give some suggestions concerning the national conference. In fact, the importance of this national conference can never be overemphasized. It is important that we discuss because Mr. Kano was speaking yesterday. He said that this government is very corrupt. These are some of the reasons why this conference is very, very important, so that each and every one of us will discuss and then know the way forward. Because what are the causes of this corruption? The monumental corruption we have in Nigeria today is because of these divisions among us. So some people, when they come into power, they want to acquire as much money as they can, so that when there is an opposition government or government in power that they does not favor them, they begin to fight that government with what they have acquired. So if we can begin to discuss on issues that are fundamental to the unity of this country, I think we cannot move forward. So the importance, no matter how bad this government is, the corruption has been there before this government came in. It is not something that one person can fight. It has to do with the generality of the country. We all have to sit down and say, this is the way forward. These are the things we must do. These are the things that we must not do. So in that way, we'll find a solution to our problem. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, our friend. Now, his opinion that, we all know that every challenge needs a solution, and the solution is the best form of tackling such challenges. Now, he has the opinion that the national conference is something that the nation can't and shouldn't do about. Where do you stand on that?
Yes, you see, like, I actually agree with his opinion, because it's so important that no matter what the challenges may be, you need to go on a round table. You need to sit down to actually discuss the issue you have at hand. Now, these are people that I always suggest should be, or if the presidency is making suggestion of people that must be at that conference, or if you want to make selections, you need to actually invite both the traditional rulers. You understand? If you are selecting at all, select the traditional rulers, because they understand the grassroots problem. Let the clergy also be there, either imam or pastor or what have you. Let those people like that should be able to understand certain things, and then those that are elderly.
Okay, we'll come to that. Let's quickly receive this reaction. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Quite unfortunate we lost that call. Please do call back. It's your program, it's your platform, so feel free to hit the lines and let's have that wonderful reaction from you. Now you're talking about representation.
Yes, those who understand the nature of the challenges we're having. Because you see, as a nation, we've come a long way, and there are certain things that is actually, agitation in the mind of so many Nigerians. And so they need to come to that platform to express that, even though you have boundaries, that this area must be no-go area or whatever, because I understand that if we go into some of those issues, truly, it may eventually trample or turn down the whole system. But at the same time, there are some sensitive areas that must be touched. And this requires those who understand the nature, those who know the background, and then know how to handle it.
Okay, let's take Michael's reaction. Good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, we're fine. Thanks for calling.
Please, I want to make a contribution over the discussion that we have at hand. My dear brothers, please, I want to say something that is disturbing me. This national conference, or we call it dialogue, I don't know. And I want to contribute towards that. According to your news and wherever yesterday, you said there are some no-go areas in this conference. I don't know why there are some no-go areas, because I believe if we are having a problem, we want to settle the matters, or we have a time, we're supposed to bring everything together and put it in the table. Everybody speak his mind. We find the solution of our problem, how to settle it. But if we call it a national conference and we still have some things that we say no-go area, we won't go to this side. We don't want to talk about this particular area. Tell me how we're gonna solve this problem. Because I may have something in mind that is disturbing me, and is among this logo area. What will I say in this conference? You know, I believe if Nigeria wants to put things in order, let's bring everything together in the table. Say your mind, I say my mind. You say your mind, I say my mind. Let's make it. Everybody say his mind and know how we can settle this issue. No-go area cannot solve the problem. If there is some areas that is not untouchable, I believe the problem will continue going on, and the problem will be continue going on. But if we say we want to settle the whole problem, we want to everyone to bring his opinion, what do you have in mind, what is the problem? Let's make it open field. Let everyone speak his mind. If after speaking, everyone speaking his mind, if Nigeria want to be one, let Nigeria continue to be one. If Nigeria don't want to be one, I believe let Nigeria be splitted. Because if you check what is happening in Nigeria, I read one article in the internet the other day about Arewa Republic, Arewa groups. What is this Arewa is all about? Arewa is the Northerners have having a name called themselves Arewa Republic. And before federal government the federal government say anything, before they contribute towards that, they went to the Arewa Republic, Arewa meeting, and discussed, look at what we are taking to the federal government. If federal government don't want to buy in our own decision, will not agree in what they said. In the other side, we have Oduduwa Republic, Oduduwa Group. Before federal government say anything, if the Oduduwas didn't sit down and discuss, what are we going to say in this meeting? When the federal government is not in their side, come on, there is a problem. They will not agree. Let in this national conference or national dialogue, let everybody come out and say his pure mind, and let Nigeria discuss it. If Nigeria want to be one, let Nigeria be one. If Nigeria don't want to be one, if they are tired of being one, because here in certain regions, some countries is up to 2 million, 3 million. Nigeria is almost 200 million, and they gather them together, and every day there is problem, every day there is problem, killing the innocent soul and doing this and doing that. The Arewas are keep quiet. My brother, let's settle this matter once and for all. No need of discussing and saying there is no go area, there is go area, there is some issue that will be pending. Come on, it can't help. If they want to make a national conference, if they call it national conference or national whatever, let everything be open. Everybody speak his mind. If the Nigeria want to be one, come on, let's be one. If Nigeria don't want to be one, let them be splitted. Everybody will go his way and go and face his own problem. Thank you. This is my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess we have started a national conference right on here, yeah. But we know that one of the things that the federal government has always tried to shy away from is the fact that discussing the division of the country's geopolitical zones. And this is something that the presidency has come out to boldly say that it's a no-go area. And this man is really angry about that fact.
The truth is, even though United States have made projections by 2015, Nigeria will be splitted into different. It will go back to their normal origin, the way it is. The north goes to the north, south goes to the south. And I think that is one of the things it's
scared of. It used to be like that before 1914 when the amalgamation took place by Lord Lugard. And would you basically say that that hasn't been working because there was a plan then to unite the borders and all that, but it doesn't seem to be, how will I put it, be working for Nigerians, especially those that are in the political situations presently. Would you share a diverse opinion to regards that?
Well, you know, at that time, there were each regions actually developed. Okay,
let's take Mr. Austin's call. Good morning.
Thank you. Hello, good morning, Mr. Adeolu.
Yeah, good to have you this morning.
Mr. Paul Lawson and Sondo Ibo. This is Austin calling from Kano. The issue under discussion is generating a lot of controversy with different views and opinion. The fact still remains that in as much as it is important for a conference to be held, what happens to the implementation of the resolution of that conference? Like Mr. Adeolu rightly said, conferences have been going on. Even this program is a conference on its own. own, where people make opinions from different parts of the world. But the fact still remains that in as much as it is important for a conference to be held, what happens to the implementation of the resolution of that conference? Like Mr. Adeolu rightly said, conferences have been going on. Even this program is a conference on its own, where people make opinions from different parts of the world. But does the government listen to the opinion of the people? After the conference, what happens to the resolution? What will be done with the resolution? Because you see, over the years, governments have been very insensitive to the desires and yearnings of the people. And it has created a lot of dissatisfaction and disconnection, by the people from the government. The yearnings of the citizens have been that government deliver on the essentials, that government provide the necessary infrastructure that will make for economic and social well-being of the country. And the government have failed to do that. Now, when you have a conference and discussions are held, how sincere will the government be to implement the resolutions of that conference? And is it more easier to hold a conference or more easier to stop the looting in government? Because you look at the task that government has been unable to perform. We have to move from the known to the unknown. Let us look at what we know about what the government is into. The level of corruption in government is unacceptable. How difficult is it to stop the looting and the thievery in government? Because we need resources to even hold the national conference. Now, with the stealing of our national resources by people in government, how sincere are they to convene national conference? In as much as we know that corruption didn't start today, but must it continue? Must we allow it to go on? So the summary of what I'm saying is, how sincere is the government in carrying out the implementation of the resolutions that will arise from this conference? That's the doubt we have. If government have not been able to carry out their essential responsibilities, their primary responsibilities, how are we sure that they will carry out the secondary responsibility of implementing a resolution of a conference? That's the million-dollar question that is yet to be answered. But we are still optimistic that the needful will be done, the right things will be done, that sincerity will come to play in government, that honesty and accountability will be the hallmark of a political system in Nigeria, so that we can come out of these challenges. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Mr. Austin, that's a regular partner on the program, and well, he has maintained some views this morning. Some, I would say some reservations with regards to the conference, and he has asked a very big question, talking about sincerity on the part of implementing the resolutions that come out of such dialogue. Paul Anson, how would you react to that?
Honestly, I must say that the report is actually the fear of every Nigerian. That at the end of the day, if this conference comes to an end, what will be the implementation of the report? Or how will the government actually implement the report that has been given? Not knowing fully well that at the end of the day, these people were actually supposed to sit down, discuss on the issue, and at the same time give us a submission, as in give us the likely solution, the steps that must be taken towards resolving the issue and then going forward. But now, if the report is given, the implementation process is what is actually the fear of every Nigerian, which he is saying, and that in as much as we said we need the conference, we also need to the implementation is also important, and that's the fear of every Nigerian. Like if you have that, you say maybe you are going through a research, you gather your hypotheses and you go through your research method and all of that, and you must come to a conclusion. You must have something that you come out and say, this is my findings and this is what I recommend. based on these findings and all of that. So that's what we're saying. And now those people that are going for this conference should not only limit their effort on just discussing the issue. You must come out with appropriate solution
and recommendations. Let's pause on that. Now, well, Mr. Austin this morning is of the opinion that such recommendations, that he has the fears that the insincerity of the government might actually be at play, talking about the post-conference scenario. Now, would you also go in line with what you have said, that the government might actually throw away recommendations being put together by notable Nigerians who have come together to discuss issues? We'll answer that after this call. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good to have you this morning. Let's have a reaction.
Yeah, I want to make a contribution to this discussion this morning. Yeah, I want to make some contribution to your discussion this morning. Yeah, this People's Parliament at their national conference, anyway, is very necessary. It's very necessary because if Nigeria actually want to practice true federalism, it is necessary in the sense that all ethnic nationalities should be called together to discuss on how to make equal distribution. I want to say that if actually we want to have a very true national federal system, it is very necessary because Nigeria in long time they have been yearning for this very national conference. And if you can think about what has gone on in the past, you will know that most of the people who have actually agitated for this national conference, they have not made any impact at all. And if this government is in line in order to call together national conference in order to discuss how there will be equal distribution, it is better because Nigeria in its practice actually has been going along with corruption and whatsoever. And I know quite well that if this is done, and actually we want to put all the discourse into practice, it will keep Nigeria on the right footing. So if Nigeria want to do, if they call for a national conference, nobody should agitate also, it is not important. All we want to say that if actually they want to practice the real federalism, which was an imposition by their colonial master onto all the federal system we are practicing now, it is better for us to go back to the national conference in order to call all ethnic nationalities together and discuss on how Nigeria should go ahead for a correct federal system. So that is my own contribution. So at the end of it, we shall be able to know whether we are doing the right thing and not just discussing it, but actually putting all we discuss when all the chiefs, all the elder, local, the grassroots people have been called together, they can now come up and implement whatever is discussed from the national conference. That will help Nigeria to go forward. So that is my contribution this morning.
Okay, thank you. That's a very wonderful one coming from you. Well, I guess you have to merge the answers together now. And looking at the way and manner in which he has handled his own contribution, saying the importance, it can't just be stressed. It can't just be overstressed. Talking about the importance of national conference to national development. Now, Sonny, where would you still stand? Talking about the post-conference scenario. After everything has been done and recommendations have been given, how would you say that the government can be best sincere in implementing these things?
I think it boils down on the sincerity with which the conference has been convened. If it has been convened on a sincere platform with a mindset of getting solutions to the problems bedeviling this country, then implementation will not be a problem. But if we don't have sincerity in calling the conference, we don't have a clear motive behind why we need a conference, then when recommendations are made and when answers are given, you will not know what to do with it. Why? Because you didn't have a clear mindset of what you really needed the conference for. Now, that is the only way implementation will not be a problem. If you're calling the conference with a specific reason to find solutions, then when the solution comes, you immediately jump into implementing them. But if you are calling, if the conference is being called based on the fact that you just want to fulfill all righteousness and also write your name in the Guinness Book of Record that during your tenure you're able to call for a national conference, and at the end of the conference you didn't do anything with the result, then it's a waste of resources. Don't forget that it's going to last for the next 3 months, and that 3 months, that time is a moment where delegations, where discussions, where issues will be ironed out, and the essence of the issue being ironed out is to see how we can be united. So we cannot really move away from the fact that even though there are no-go areas, we cannot move away from the fact that it is still Nigeria's unity we're discussing. So the president, for the president to have come out openly and say that Nigeria's unity is a no-go area, I think that is a statement that is ambiguous. It's a statement that has two faces. You're either not discussing it as in, we're not coming out to say we are going to be divided. That is the point. We are not coming in this conference to say the North should go to the North. We are not coming to say the East should go to the East or South should go to the South. What we are coming to discuss is how we can be united even more. I think that is how it should be painted, and not we are not coming to discuss Nigeria's disunity. Now, we are not coming, even though you're not coming out to say we are not discussing Nigeria's disunity. In one word or other, that's what you're discussing. Because for you to have called a national conference is because you don't want the country to divide, because you're tired of seeing how people are killed in the North and we see retaliations in the East. It's because you're tired of seeing how corruption is eating the nation deep. You're tired of seeing how vandalism takes place in other parts of the country. You're tired of seeing investors scared of coming into this country to invest. Why? Because they don't know where the next bomb will explode. Now, these are things that are dividing this country. So even if you don't want to discuss the unity, the whole essence of the national conference is Nigeria's unity. You understand? So that is the whole bottom line. Even though you're coming to discuss the unity, if you know you don't want to mention it, you say it's a no-go area. The bottom line of this whole conference, the whole essence of calling the conference is for the unity of this nation. So Nigeria shouldn't be bothered by the fact that the president said there are no-go areas. The nation's unity should not be discussed. That is what you're discussing. Ironically, that is what you're discussing. That is the whole essence of calling the conference. If not for the unity, why else would we be calling for the conference?
Well, that's a rhetorical question. We all know that it's for the unity and national development as a whole. Well, Paul, quickly because of time, you have just 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, what is your projection for the national conference, for the proposed national conference?
My projection is that we should come out with final submission. That's the way forward, because we were left with divide and rule system by our colonial master, and this has carried us to this point. So the best way is to use what we have now to make sure that we correct the mistakes of the past and then go forward.
Okay, Sonny, Mr. Finally, your projection for the conference.
Well, it will be successful, and it will also make Nigeria move forward, because if we call a conference and we don't really have a whole of what we call a conference, but then it's a waste of time. But I see it coming at the right time, at a moment where we needed it the more, because if something is not done, we end up, I don't know who you're ruling. So I see it coming very, very good at the end of the 3 months.
Well, I like that. Something has to be done, and that thing is just something that will bring up to that change. And don't forget, I always stress that that change begins with you. It's been wonderful having you as our viewers this morning, and as a part of our success as always on your wonderful ACBN to Rise Africa. Having done that, we wish you a very best of the day. Stay blessed, stay with God until we come your way tomorrow for another edition of People's Parliament, and of course Rise Africa on your channel of champions ACBN. I remain at Adeolu Balogun. Don't forget to also watch us live on www.acbntv.org for our live streaming. In the meantime, stay blessed and enjoy the very best of God's mercies and grace.
ACBN, the channel of champions.